surface level personalization of tickling someone's ego by, I always talk about Starbucks, them just writing your name on the side of the cup, or the Share a Coke campaign where they put your name on a
That was us,
Coke.
actually. That was Ogilvy in Australia who
wow.
instigated that brilliant idea. But it's a very interesting thing, personalisation, because it's one of those things you have to be very judicious about. You know, it can be spooky, okay? And, you know, there are companies that get it worryingly wrong by essentially playing back to people things that they shouldn't know or didn't need to know.
I've had that.
And so it's often one of those things which I think is interesting because it's best done obliquely.
Spooky example.
So if you know something about someone in a personalised letter, you say, you may be the kind of person who recently did this, rather than saying you did this. And it can be spooky, and it's one of those very interesting things where knowing how to play it is really, really critical.
I'm going to give you an example where I think someone played it wrong, because I was thinking about...
Go on, yeah.
So this is maybe slightly different, but I registered for a gym on the other side of the world. I won't say the country because they might listen. On the other side of the world, right? And 30 or 40 minutes after registering for the gym, I got an email from the CEO saying, "Hi, Steve, I've just seen you've registered for our gym. If there's anything I can do while you're in town, please let me know, blah, 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 blah." Now, on one hand, people might think that's great and that's lovely of them to do, but I don't know how that individual got my details. So I gave it to an iPad on the front desk to a nice Indonesian lady.
Right.
And then the CEO, who's a British person, is clearly, what else did they see of my details? Did they see my password? Did they see my bank details? So it just kind of, it hurt me. I was a bit shook by it. I was like, how in 35 minutes since I put that details into the iPad has the CEO in the UK has emailed my manager? And then I'll give you a good example, which is I flew to India. I got to a hotel in India, and as I went into the room, they had a chocolate Taj Mahal, and they had my company logo, Social Chain, in a small rice paper sticker on the thing. And I thought that made me feel special.
Yeah.
One of them made me feel like they'd invaded my privacy a little bit, and the other one had made me feel really special. And I took my phone out and I do loads of Instagrams about this hotel and this Taj Mahal rice paper sticker that cost $2. So you're right, there is a fine line there.
And you can, I mean, it's very interesting because you've also got to be very, very alert to cultural differences, so that Germans have a paranoia about data protection and privacy, which is an order of magnitude greater than that you find in, say, the US, right, where I think most people in the US kind of have the mentality that the horse has already bolted. It's too late. Everybody already knows all this stuff. So leaving aside things like medical data and stuff that is, naturally expected to remain secret.
It's because I thought with a machine, it's funny because when you put your details into computers and like login forms and registration forms, you assume they're going into some vault.
It never occurred to me that because you'd self-inputted it, you'd assumed that effectively it was anonymous.
Yes, and it was going into some vault in a computer that was encrypted and secure. So to get an email, 35, I go, well, these people seeing all my data, he's got my phone number, he's got my passwords. And that was just felt like a bit of a...
And what's interesting is you found it unpleasant. Another person, otherwise demographically identical to you, would be cool with it.
Yeah, they would have thought it was great customer service.
Generally, it's probably a caution that people who work in marketing are less likely to be sensitized to possible negative interpretations of what they're doing.
True.
Because people who work in marketing are high on openness. I'll give you a lovely example of this, which I better not name the client. But it was simply, there was a special offer by a credit card company. And the envelope sent out just said final reminder in red because the offer was about to expire. Okay? And we thought it was reasonably cute. You're going to open a letter with final reminder on it, and it'll tell you that you've only got 10 days left to enjoy this particular discount. And a significant minority of people went bananas with this. And the reason was, do you know what they said? Now, to a Londoner, this is incomprehensible, okay? If you live in London or you live in a large city. Now my postman thinks I don't pay my bills. Because they'd received a letter with final reminder on the outside of the envelope. Yeah. Now, most people in London don't really know their postman, and they certainly wouldn't worry about their postman going around and gossiping about them, because in a place like London, there's a level of anonymity. If you live in a small country village, totally different matter, because the postman drinks at the same pub as your friends.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And that's one of those cases where nobody working on the thing had any consideration, because Londoners wouldn't be bothered by that. Equally, I suppose someone who shares a doormat with 5 other people might be bothered by that.